Welcome to Natural Born Talents. Today's subject is how to spot the green-tan aura, sometimes called the Shogun's aura. This group, like the yellow, is part of the biokinetic group. However, unlike the environment group or the yellow, it reacts more like a cross between the physical environmental group and the biokinetic group. What this means is that this aura reacts to the environment through muscle tension, unlike the yellow who reacts more biochemically. Again, more on that in another video. To spot this aura, if you look at the yellow's happy-go-lucky view on life, you will notice that the green-tan aura is the complete opposite. While the yellow can be very trusting of life, believing that they always will somehow be taken care of, the green-tan aura is not so sure. The green-tan aura doesn't trust life the way the yellow does, and therefore this leads to one of their weakest points, their inability to be flexible, their stubbornness. However, this doesn't mean they're unreasonable when dealing with something they understand and trust. A lot of people view this aura as being standoffish, aloof, cold, slow to warm up. And while to some degree that's true, what they really are doing is taking their time to observe their environment and observe others. They're slow to make friends, slow to warm up. They're not open to the cheap thrills of the yellow, for example. They much prefer quality, quiet time, time to think, time to be alone, but also to spend quality time with those they do care for. Because of their reserved and cautious approach to life, they much prefer jobs that give them that sense of security, the military being one of them, where discipline and loyalty is a must, but also things like professional sports, troubleshooting for a large company, and the like. Now, to spot this aura, you will notice them in social situations as being sort of standoffish, and they will position themselves where they are looking out into the crowd with nobody behind their backs. Their conversation may not be their forte, so they will engage somewhat awkwardly at the beginning of the conversation. But as they warm up, they can be known to be very intelligent with their conversation. They tend to listen more than they speak, so they will give a cautious approach to explaining their opinion as opposed to just blurting out something that they believe to be so. Now, some of the more famous people with this aura, of course, are from the military. Patton would be a perfect example of that. There were some German generals at the same time, I suspect, also had the same aura. Most of the famous generals throughout history do carry this aura, not all of them, of course, but many of them do because of their strategic way of thinking, their ability to move large groups of people and supplies throughout various terrains. The hallmark is, of course, their aloofness, their stubbornness, their inability to adapt quickly, their need to have every day the same, their lack of risk-taking. They prefer security over many other of the more flamboyant auras, and their lack of communication skills, etc. Because they think in a certain logical, strategic way, they sometimes believe they are the only ones that think that way, which leads to the problem with communication because they don't necessarily trust other people who do not think the same way they do. They tend to be very good at following orders. They will follow orders to the letter, which is a great strength within the military, but in social situations, they are not able to be flexible in their thinking, and therefore communication can break down. Well, that's all for this video. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments section below. And thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.